Hello and welcome back to another video. Today here again on Forza Horizon 4 to test out the 6 brand new Hot Wheels that have been added to the game as part of the Hot Wheels pack. So this is a paid for pack. It's £7.19 it cost me, which is the same whether you've got the Ultimate Edition or not. It's a paid pack. Basically they've already given us everything that was advertised for the Ultimate Edition, so anything additional is now paid for. It would possibly be £1 more than that if you don't have Game Pass. I think there's a slight reduction for that. So £7 or £8. It's about $10 if you're buying it in America. And yeah, like I said, it's the same for everyone. So you're paying that whether you have the Ultimate Edition or not. Which, personally, I think it's a little bit expensive for 6 cars. But I've not spent any money on anything Forza since this game came out quite a long time ago. So basically, because it's been a longer window between games coming out, they're having to do this to get money in. I think it's a similar story as why they're suddenly selling the game on Steam as well. But yeah, I'm not too bothered if, hopefully, yeah, I don't know. I'm not too worried spending that much after the game's been out this long. But yeah, it is only 6 cars, so a little bit on the expensive side. But anyway, on to the vehicles. All 6 of them are real-life cars that were built for the Hot Wheels Legends Tour, which is basically where people build maddest things they can think of in real life, and then one of them is basically chosen each year to become a Hot Wheels, to become a 1/64 scale model. So 2 of the cars in the pack are winners from 2018 and 2019. So, what do we have in the pack? We have the Ford F5 Dually Custom Hot Rod, 400 horsepower, 4,600 pound, 1949 truck. So this was an entrant, but didn't win, unfortunately. We now come on to the second vehicle, 1968 International Harvester Lodestar. So 485 horsepower, but 2,998 pounds. Quite a heavy old thing. Again, didn't win this one. One of the entrants. We then have the Nash Metropolitan, which was actually the winner of the 2019 tour, 350 horsepower, 2,250 pounds. Then we have the 2 Jet Z, which is a 2JZ engine thing that looks like that. So it's the only one that's kind of not based on anything, it's just mad. And this one won in 2019, 350 horsepower, 2,250 pounds, is in S1, that is the fastest of the cars. Then we have the Studebaker, the Golden Hawk Dream Roadster, 1957, 528 horsepower, 3,362 pounds. And finally, the Chevrolet Love, 1972, 400 horsepower, 3,200 pounds. I think you can see the engine in the back. It's basically a pickup truck with a convertible pickup truck with the engine in the back, which is a bit mad. This thing's going to be interesting, the Studebaker, because it's all completely asymmetrical. But anyway, I think we'll start with the lowest class vehicle, have a quick look at it, take it for a quick drive stock, and then fully upgrade it. I'm probably going to fully upgrade all of them with the standard engine, rather than doing any swaps. So I'll just fully upgrade standard engine and see what they're like after that. But anyway, let's start with one of them completely stock. What's our lowest class vehicle? So we'll start with the Nash. So here we are. The Nash. Actually, it's got a slightly weathered look. Patina. I like that. I love the dice on the engine as well. That's just a bit mad, really. But yeah, I do quite like the look of this thing. What have we got on the back? Is that like a parachute for drag racing? I think that's what that is. Right, anyway, this is in C-Class. Let's go and see what it's like. So here we are in the Nash C-Class. Not that much power, but not too bad. It's running 350 horsepower, 2,250 pounds, this one, so let's see what it's like. Not much grip. Can you see how narrow the tyres are? They're not actually... Because if you look at the wheel arch behind there, the wheels wouldn't actually fit. They're sort of out the rear wheels at least, outside of the bodywork. They're not very wide. It wheel spins a lot. So, at the moment, it's not really very nice to drive. And if you're in here, you can't see a thing. So it's a bit... like that. Well, it's not very fast and it has no grip, so really that's kind of all I want to drive it stock. Yeah. Looks cool. Doesn't drive very well. Let's go and upgrade it and then see if it's any better. So it's now running 501 horsepower. It's actually slightly heavier than before, but I couldn't make the tyres any wider. I could make the rims bigger, which looks even more ridiculous, but I'm not sure it helps. It's all-wheel drive. There were 2 engine swaps, 2 V8s, but I've stuck with the standard engine, fully upgraded, which is 500 horsepower. All-wheel drive swapped. Interestingly, it had vintage race tyres. No race suspension, only drift and rally, so slightly odd what isn't available, but I think it's a little bit... it's faster at least, it's in S1 class now. But it drives a little bit better. There was kind of the worry some of these cars would be OP, which possibly some of them will be, but I don't think this will be. A lot of them are just kind of cool, mad, slightly odd, but you're not going to be winning anything in this. I do like it, and obviously Nash is something we haven't really had in Forza before. But anyway, shall we go and test out the second car? Okay, so next up is the International Harvester. So this has 485 horsepower, more powerful but slightly heavier, 4,660 pounds. Rather unsurprisingly, oh no, sorry, wrong. The International's 485 horsepower, 2,998 pounds. So basically, yeah, it's kind of more of a truck than anything. It's not going to be the fastest thing in the world. It has a spoiler, which is going to be entirely pointless. But I think it's one of the cooler looking cars, actually. Something a bit different. It's a bit mad. But, yeah. Let's take it out and see what it's like. Again, only sitting in C-Class. This is the second of the 2 C-Class vehicles. So, here we are. Sounds nice and V80. Slides a little bit, but isn't too bad. It's actually much more drivable than the Nash was. Interesting in interior, very... oh! A bit more understeery. Yeah, none of these are brilliant. Well, so far, they're not brilliant stock. I can't imagine this being particularly good at anything either. Right. I mean, it's not bad. Like I say, it drives better than the Nash did. So, that's a good start. Right. Shall we go and see what this is like with a maxed out standard engine? So we now have 860 horsepower roughly, slightly lighter, all-wheel drive, race tyres. Again, there was only rally and drift suspension. Again, they were both of the same 2 V8s available as swaps. I am looking at paints as well, just haven't found anything I like for these first 2, so I've left them stock, because, well, if I could just paint it a different colour and it kept the design bit, then I would do that, but yeah. So yeah, we've done that. I also put the aero on this one because we have a wing on top of our wing. Yeah, and also a front splitter, which I can't really see because the camera won't spin properly around there. Right, I can feel, it's kind of, feels like it's... I don't know, the front and back are kind of not entirely connected. I don't know if that's just how the suspension runs, but it's kind of... It's the way the wheels aren't really... The back wheels aren't really connected to the bodywork. They're kind of bouncing up and down. Slightly interesting. It actually drives not too badly. We are in S1 class, so I think if you dropped it back to A maybe, it might not be too bad. It's a little bit heavy, a little bit understeery. It's still a truck, but it might be okay in A class in this. I don't think it's going to be breaking any records, which is good. I don't want them to add OP cars. I mean, these kind of hot roddy things, as cool as they look, shouldn't be very good. So I'm kind of pleased so far that they're not ridiculous. They're just kind of fun. So yeah, I do quite like them, but like I say, not fast. If you're looking to use them to win things, don't. Only buy it if you like the cars, or if you want to mess about with them, basically. So far, right. What's next? So our third vehicle is the Ford F5 Julie 1949 truck, 400 horsepower. It is our heaviest vehicle at 4,660 pounds. I do love the paint on it though, look at that. We've got like the checkered flag on the roof, I like that. Got the tanks in the rear. This is kind of your most classic hot rod style vehicle out of all of them, I think. We've barely got seats in there, that's a little bit weird. But yeah, it's kind of your most typical hot rod, I think. Turbo. It's got a turbo though. Right. Let's see what it's like, our first B-class vehicle. Okay, so here we are, out in our truck. If you put the brakes on, look at the skull on the back. If you brake, the brake lights on that appear, which is cool. I'm not quite sure why we've got a sort of roll cage thing going into the cab like that. I guess when it's been completely chopped down like that, yeah, I don't know. Anyway. So the reason it's called the Julie, I think, is because it's got dual wheels at the back. I assume that's what that means. I'll stock it. It feels a little bit faster than the other two, not by a lot though, even though we're up in B class. I mean, like I say, it's still a heavy thing, so... Handles well though. There's a little bit of understeer in the corners, but other than that, it's not actually too bad. I quite like this stock actually. It's quite nice to drive. Nice and planted. It's probably so far it's probably the last one was interesting, the International Harvester, but this is... I think this is cooler. I think this looks cooler. Right, anyway. Same as with the last two, we must go and fully upgrade it with this engine, and then see what it's like after that. So, we now have 819 horsepower. One thing I noticed when I was upgrading it is it's already got vintage race tyres. I've swapped it to race tyres. The Horizon race tyres weren't available with the lettering. Only one V8 swap was available, the 7.2. Other than that, all-wheel drive, kept the standard engine, maxed it out. Again, I haven't gone with any liveries so far, they're quite disappointing. This pack did only come out yesterday at the time of filming this, so... Not that I mind, I think it looks really cool with the paint it's got on it. Kind of don't want to take that off anyway. The other two I was less worried about, but yeah, it still drives reasonably well. Again, it's kind of got understeer. I mean, I have all-wheel drive swapped it. With all of these, I am just upgrading them quite quickly. I'm not doing any tuning or anything. I just want to get a feel for what they're going to be like. As a sort of first look at the pack, I'm not going to be doing anything competitive with them as they are. I would potentially rebuild them to certain classes, maybe to A, to S1, if I was going to use them for anything, but yeah, not really sure I will be. Like I say, I don't think any of them are going to be particularly good at anything so far. They're just cool things to have and drive. Anyway, so far, that's my favourite all round to drive visually. Overall, this is my favourite of the three we've driven. Let's go and see what's next. So our fourth vehicle is the Chevrolet Love, a bright yellow pickup truck with a V8 in the back, because of course it is. Again, just like our, yeah, obviously no engine in there, just like the Ford that we tested out a minute ago, it's got 400 horsepower exactly. Slightly lighter this, it's 3,200 pounds, but still not a light thing. I mean, it's a truck with a V8 in it, it's not going to be completely light, but anyway, I think it looks rather cool actually. It's a bit weird having a convertible, well, not even convertible because there's no roof at all, it's not even an option of a roof, but anyway, let's drive it. It does sound pretty good, especially under the festival here. It kind of bogs down a bit off the line. It's got a very bright yellow interior. Oh, you can really hear the supercharger from in here. Well, it's not easy to drive. The Ford truck was much easier. We're going through a drift zone in a bright yellow banana thing with a big V8 in the back. Wait, why have we got these stupid bonnet louvers on here when the engine's in here? Right, so this Wedge of Cheese is not actually very... well, it's not quite... I tell you what's a Wedge of Cheese, the next car that we're going to be driving. This is more of a floppy banana with a big engine in the back. Oh, look at the drift. Right. Let's go and max this out and see how mad it is. So we now have 763 horsepower, which isn't as much as we got in some of the other vehicles, but yeah, it's a little bit better. Oh, we have a purple dashboard for whatever reason. That is layer group 2. Layer group 1's the exterior and layer group 2 is that, so you could make quite an interesting, on the advanced paint options, I mean. So yeah, that's kind of interesting. Oh, this thing is scary. It's all-wheel drive swap now. This did have the race tyres. Had some more engine swaps, had two V8s and a V10, which is slightly weird when you can see the V8 and you swap a V10 and it's still a V8. But anyway, we've stuck with the standard engine, fully upgraded, as I've done with the other ones. The other thing I've done with this is put in a roll cage because it looks like that. Not too bad, it's a little bit oversteery, even all-wheel drive with, like, admittedly I've not put any aero on it. I'm not sure there was any actually, I don't remember seeing any. So again, yeah, that's 4 out of 6 cars and they're still not... they're not great to drive. Like I said, you probably only want to buy this if you want to drive them and you find them interesting. Also, why is it damaged? I've got sim damage on, haven't I? Fixed that. Just as well I spotted that now, rather than when I'm in the drive truck race. Anyway. So far, all 4 are amazingly cool. A little bit difficult to drive and probably not going to be very fast at anything. So next up we have a Wedge of Cheese, and then we have the 2JZ, or the 2JetZ, or whatever it's called. So next up we have a Wedge of Cheese, and it's a lopsided Wedge of Cheese. Oh wow, what is that light? It's got a pop-down headlight. Forget pop-up headlights, it's got a pop-down headlight. It's got a reversed bonnet that opens the wrong way, and yeah, the whole point of this car is everything's not symmetrical. Look where the boot is. It's like that little hatch there, right. So yes, it's a Wedge of Cheese that's lopsided. It has 528 horsepower, 3,362 pounds. Started life as a Studebaker, 1957 Studebaker, which it definitely isn't now. Let's see what it's like. This is our only A-class vehicle. We've tested out 2 B-class vehicles, and our final vehicle is going to be S1 after this one. So it doesn't sound too bad, sounds a bit more generic than the other ones. Not sure why it's quite so angled down at the floor either, other than trying to look like a piece of cheese. The lights are just... yeah, it's not exactly a good looking car. It's interesting, but I don't think I like it. Oh. Oh, it's undrivable. Hello, don't mind me, I'm just driving past in my piece of cheese. Whoop. I mean, it's the shape of cheese, it's the colour of cheese, it must be cheese. That's kind of all I can say about this car at the moment. It kind of handles like a piece of cheese as well. And a very slidey piece of cheese. Yeah, I think we need to go and upgrade this and make it slightly less cheese-like. Maybe change the colour as well. So we now have 793 horsepower, race tyres, all-wheel drive. Again, there's not much you could do with tyre width. You couldn't put race suspension on. It's quite limiting. There was one V8 and one V10 swap, but I've kind of maxed it out as best I can with the standard engine. And painted it a colour that's not yellow, so it looks slightly less like cheese. Ooh, actually, it's not bad. It's not bad. I could see myself driving this for something. Not sure what in, and it's probably a bit fast to build to the top of A-class and still be good, so maybe not, but it's the first car that actually drives almost like a car now that it's been upgraded. Not bad speed as well. I think you might need to adjust the gears a bit, get it a little bit more towards acceleration, but like I say, I'm not really tuning these, I'm just upgrading them, seeing what they're like. This is a sort of first look at the pack video rather than anything in depth. So we've got to try them all out stock, try them all out upgraded, but yeah, I like this. This drives well, actually. Reasonably. I've driven things that handle better, let's say. It's not too bad. It looks a bit ridiculous. I mean, it is a bit... well, that's kind of the point, isn't it? But right. Shall we go and test out the final vehicle, the 2JetZ, which is a 2JZ engine swapped? An engine with an aeroplane-inspired body built around it, basically. Let's go and get in it and see what it's like. So here it is, the 2JetZ, the craziest car in the pack, S1 class. That's your cabin. It's kind of, yeah, it's kind of a little bit like an aeroplane. That's kind of what it's inspired by, but kind of hand-built thing around one of these 2JZ engines. So let's head on out, see what it's like stock. This is the first car, or the only car that starts quite high in S1 class, actually. Let's see what it's like. Sounds turbo-y. Whoa! Oversteer, oversteer, oversteer. Oh wow, it's a death trap. It's a ridiculous death trap, and you can't really see from in here. It's all orange. We're inside an orange. Oh, where's the road? Oh no. Oh god, I can't drive this stupid thing. Right, straight to the upgrade shop to fix it. I can't drive it like this. Ah. Right, so in case it wasn't undrivable enough when it was 639 horsepower and 1,740 pounds, we've lightened it slightly, and it's now running 1,300 horsepower. And I've painted it like that to showcase the advanced painting options. Basically, each stripe is an option. Well, there's 3 options. The 2 oranges, you get what I mean. But yeah, it's all-wheel drive. Interestingly, it was already on race tyres. We've widened them quite a lot. The all-wheel drive is now in X class as well, which is the only Hot Wheels I think that's capable of that from this pack. It's still undrivable from interior because you can see. Okay, this is not bad-ish. It doesn't have the downforce. There's no aero options basically, so it's not going to have the downforce of anything else. So I think because of that, it's never going to quite be as good as some of the other cars. Potentially it could be good at drag racing, I don't know. But yeah, I'm kind of pleased that none of them feel like they're amazingly fast, because realistically they shouldn't be the way they've been built. They're not like a supercar or something, they've kind of been bolted together. Lots of power bolted on a very random shaped vehicle, basically, is what all of these are. They're entirely mad, I love them, but they shouldn't be good. And they're not, which I like. They're not going to be OP, so you don't... Hopefully, we'll find out in the coming weeks whether they become OP or not, or whether somebody figures out a way of tuning any of them. So hopefully that doesn't happen, because then it's kind of pay to win. But anyway. Yeah, kind of cool. I do quite like this pack. I would recommend it, actually. It's only £7, and given you probably haven't spent any money on Forza for a couple of years since it came out, I think it's probably worth it. It's a little bit annoying if you have an Ultimate Edition, but I think it's worth it, probably. And like I say, I'm not too bothered spending that much this many years after release. But yeah, that is probably going to do it for a look at all 6 of the new Hot Wheels cars. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll be back with the next video very soon.